Thank you for tuning in to Homeschool Homesteaders. Today we're going to answer a question. How much does the feed cost for a small flock of chicken? And the short answer is 12 cents per day. And this is why this price describes my homestead. What I do is I buy my baby chicks, and this year I bought 7 of them in the month of April. And by August, they will start laying eggs, but usually I butcher my chickens in November, and I will leave 2 laying chickens over the winter. And here is what you will need to feed your chickens. And you will need something like a starter feed for the chicks, baby chicks. Once the chickens get old enough, you will give them the layer feed, and you will also need some poultry grit in case they can't find stones to help devour their food, digest their food. And the total price for that is $29. I kid you not. This is what you're going to need from the month of April to the month of November. $29. Obviously, you do not leave them in the bags. What you do is you find a good heavy-duty bin and you put all of your feed into the bins to keep the critters out. The chicks here are about 4 or 5 weeks old, and they still require the starter feed. And the big bag you bought will be plenty. And basically, while they're in this little bin, I'm introducing them to the outside weather to accumulate them. They are still on the starter feed. So right now we are just providing them water and the starter feed. Then I bring them into my chicken tractor. I still have the heat lamp because the nights are cold in the month of April and May, but we are still doing the starter feed. So they are still on the starter feed, nothing. They might eat a few bugs here or there, but then as they get older, this is where you start introducing the grass and you start introducing the layer feed. And so this is where they eat the grass and they start eating bugs or whatever critters they find out here. When the chicks are about 8 weeks old, I start introducing chicken scraps. Once again, chicken scraps are vegetarian. No meat yet, and I hardly ever use meat scraps. Mostly vegetarian, some flax seeds, as you can see from this video. And I give it to the chickens when they're about 8 weeks old. The more scraps you use, the less you rely on store-bought feed. Water is important for the chicks, and I give them fresh water daily. I'm not the lazy type, so it's not that hard to give them fresh water. And finally, you let them out of the chicken run. You could keep them in the chicken run, but one of the ways I keep my costs down is I let my chickens forage for the food. My chickens are in the woods. They eat bugs, they eat grass, they eat leaves. I don't know what else they eat, but all they do every day is they forage. And this is paradise. This is heaven for them. This is how chickens are in the wild, if we still have wild chickens left. But this is, like I said, this is heaven. They enjoy it. They're healthy. They clean themselves. And the store feed that I bought, I hardly ever use it. So this is one of the ways to keep the chickens' costs down, is to have them forage for their own food. Here I had some cantaloupe, and as you could see, the chickens love cantaloupe. They devoured it completely. Now from this video, there's bread in the scraps, and bread is a very good food to give to your chickens. Once again, scraps keeps the chicken cost down. In my house, we throw a lot of food away, and every house throws a lot of food away, and it's nice to have chickens because instead of the waste going into the trash, it goes into your chickens. Most of us don't have a compost pile either, so chickens are a great way to get rid of household scraps. And you keep them in the woods. Let the chickens forage, let them run around, let them be happy, let them be chickens the way the Creator intended them to be. And this is how you keep your costs down. If you keep your chickens cooped up in the cages, the store-bought feed that you're going to rely on will dramatically increase. Keep your chickens free, happy, and healthy, and your cost goes down. I cannot stress that enough.